On this episode, we're talking about the importance of a practice location, telling patient success stories, and having fun. Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to the 88 Dental Marketing Show. This is the internet's only dental show that's answering marketing's most important questions. We started from the bottom, but now we're here at episode 24. I am your host, Joshua Scott. Thanks so much for being here this week. Got a great show planned. Just a handful of questions that I've answered lately that I thought would be good for this episode. Before we get to some questions though, this episode, number 24, is sponsored by Treatment Tree Software. Simple case acceptance tracking. In dentistry, we all know case acceptance is so important. I mean, there are speakers who have made their name talking about case acceptance. And so we know it's important. We even have a handle on what good numbers, acceptance numbers should be when it comes to treatment acceptance. But sometimes getting those numbers can be difficult. And that's where Treatment Tree Solution comes in. In my opinion, it's the best product out there for this. Kelly Levin leads the company. I'm going to put the contact information down below in the show notes. So wherever you're watching this video, just scroll down below. You'll see a link to their website. Hit them up. Tell Kelly you saw it on the show. She'd be happy to give you a demo, show you how it works, probably include a little free trial in there. It will blow your mind, the statistics and the data that comes back. And if you're anything like me, we can geek out on the data. It's a ton of fun to see it, but even better to interpret it and make changes in the practice around that data. And so Kelly and Treatment Tree, they'll help you do that. Great product, great company, great person, and she will take care of you. So link it up down below, visit them, tell them you saw them on the show, and I am ready, man. Let's get to some questions.
Our first question is from Lauren Strauss. How important is it to have a different location and design than the average dental practice?
Hey, Lauren. Yeah, marketing, location plays such a huge role in marketing. I would rather pay $100,000 more for a practice, pay over for that practice in a better location than to get a good deal on a practice in a not so great part of town. I mean, and people push back all the time. They say, well, the practice wasn't appraised at that. I'm not going to pay that extra $100,000. And I'm like, listen, stop. You'll make up that $100,000 easy because of the location that it's in. And so much of that, like if you're paying more for rent in a location or you've got more cost in a sign because it's a great location, I'm okay with that. Like we'll write that off as marketing expense, but that's how much of an important role it plays. The other thing that's interesting is patients will judge your clinical competence based on your facility. And it's it's sad, but it's true. And so like patients, when they walk into your practice, your facility, when you ask like how important is it for the design of the practice to be different than the average Joe practice, it's so important because patients walk in and they literally judge your external appearance. They think that that's a reflection of your clinical competence. And so it's wild. But if they walk into a nice practice, they assume you have good dental skills, And it's really fascinating because I'm going to do an article or a segment on this soon. But the three things patients judge your competence by is number one, your timeliness, like whether or not your practice runs on time. Number two, the friendliness of the staff. And number three, your facility. And so in the end, it's tough because none of that stuff actually has to do with you and your schooling and your school debt and continuing educations and licensing and all that stuff that goes into it. But that's the truth of it. And so, yeah, location is a huge, huge, huge deal when it comes to marketing. Always err on the side of the better location.
Question number 2 is from Dr. Scott Pressfield. What do you think of putting patient success stories on your website?
Dr. Pressfield, I love stories of any kind. And so you got me at stories. You had me at stories. No, I'm a big fan of telling stories. I think telling patient success stories is huge. It's kind of like replacing the before and after gallery, which I'm a huge fan of doing. I really love the concept of the before and after gallery. I just don't like the clinical pictures that go along with it. And so I think if you can tell patient success stories in a way where you are merging like reviews with photography and like reviews plus photography plus story, man, I think that's a win. Like that's a win. That's an amazing, awesome idea. Executing that gets a little bit tougher because it's less about the story and it's more about the photography. Okay, so listen, conceptually, when playing this out on your website, it's less about the story and it's more about the photography. You're gonna have to get great shots of patients, not clinical in the practice shots, but go get some really great looking headshots of them. Go get some lifestyle photography of them, then bring in a review from them, like a little testimonial, and plus put a little bit of story in that. Now we've got an amazing package to tell people and to inspire people. And so that's my advice. I think you're on the right track. The stories, I think, come more easily than we think. It's the execution of the photography that you have to be cautious of.
Our third question is from Dr. Ann Everson. What can we do next week to change our marketing profile?
Dr. Ann, thanks for this question. What can we do next week to change our marketing profile? In other words, like what can we do right away to change our marketing efforts to get more new patients in the door? My advice, have fun. As a dental practice, have fun. And I'm serious. I mean, listen, I'm really serious about this. I think most dental practices out there don't have enough fun. And I've been in dentistry long enough. I'm finishing up 13 years, starting 14 years in dentistry. I've been around enough that I think I can pretty much say without a doubt, unequivocally, not sure. I can say with 100% certainty that the practices that have the most fun have more new patients and do more dentistry. Overall, on the whole, that's the truth. And so when you're probably looking for like a direct mail like hint, right? Or something about like online or some type of deal or whatever. But you know what? I think in trying to look for the quick fix, we miss the thing that is truly compelling about our practices, and that is the fact that we can have fun. Yes, it's dentistry. Yes, I'm a dentist. Yes, it's healthcare. And yes, I'm a clinician. But we like to have fun. And no matter what we do in life, we bring that same enjoyment with us wherever we go. So that's my advice to you next week. That's the one thing you can do, which is a great question to leave everybody with. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun do you have in your practice? And what can you do next week, to bring some more fun into it? Guys, appreciate you being here. This was episode number 24. I am looking forward to seeing you on a future episode. See you then.